What is going on, Diablo 2 fans? Dubrunski here, and I'm back with another Diablo 2 non-smiter Ubers video. Today we're going to complete Ubers with the Wolf Barbarian. Now this character is a lot of fun. There's a lot of pros associated with the build, unique weapon choices, great survivability, and a couple cons which I will cover in this video, and then we'll go over the gear and then wrap things up with the Ubers gameplay. And like all of my previous build videos, timestamps will be in the description below, so if you guys want to bounce back and forth, they are there for you guys to use, so please take advantage of them. Quick reminder though, I will not be going into a lot of specifics about the attributes in the skill tree for this Barbarian because I do plan on releasing a PvM centered build video in the future, so you can look forward to that. But this build was Theorycraft live on stream on Twitch. I stream there twice a week. Link is of course in the description below, twitch.com/Dubrunski125. So if you guys give me a follow there, I'd really appreciate it. You can just hang out and kind of help me sort of Theorycraft these builds prior to making these videos. But guys, I really do hope you enjoy this video. Let's jump in. So the first thing that I want to do is talk about three major pros and three major cons that I think are associated with the Wolf Barb, and kind of specifically for doing Ubers. The first pro is that the Wolf Barb is a super tanky character with a high level battle orders and then shapeshifting into werewolf form. You have tons of life. I specifically pulled extra points at vitality and put them into dexterity and strength to do a little bit more damage and have a little bit higher attack rating, and I still had 6,000 health with this character. Pretty crazy, right? 6k health for Ubers with life tap. It's almost a recipe to kind of cakewalk through Ubers, no problem. The second major pro is there's great mobility with this character despite the lack of really being able to use Enigma in shapeshifting form. You have Feral Rage, so when that's completely buffed up, you have a lot of fast run walk, so you can really get around quickly, so kind of the lack of teleport is not a huge loss with this build. And the third major pro in my eyes is the unique choice of weapons with the build. So because the Barbarian can naturally dual wield weapons, and you also have the skill battle orders and you don't have to rely on CT on the offhand, you can kind of do some interesting things like wielding Grief on the main hand and Beast on the offhand to supplement your character with a Fanaticism aura. And then you can also use a Rib Cracker on the offhand for a really high crushing blow weapon to quickly get Ubers down to half health, and then switch to your main hand again. So again, a lot of variability with your weapon choices. But like all characters in Diablo 2, there is some cons associated with the Wolf Barb, and the first being that using Enigma, if you want to, can be a bit of a pain in the butt because you can't teleport in shapeshifted form. You need to kind of wield FCR weapons on the offhand, teleport in Barbarian form, find the Ubers, and then shapeshift back into werewolf form to attack. It's not the end of the world, but it's not preferable in my eyes. It's kind of a little bit of an annoyance. And the second con being the lack of skill choices with the Wolf Barb. You are completely restricted to using Feral Rage, that's it. So you kind of invest your skill points in an odd way. You kind of max Iron Skin, Shout, Battle Orders, your Weapon Mastery, max your natural resistances, just because you can't use anything else other than Feral Rage. And the final con would be just the lack of AoE. Again, we're stuck to using Feral Rage. It's a really high damage single target attacking build which works well for Ubers, but for general PvM, the lack of AoE is very apparent. So going over the gear for the Wolf Barbarian, it's really interesting in terms of what you can choose. So with the main hand and the offhand, like I mentioned earlier, I'm using Grief. This is just fast, hard-hitting weapon with a lot of damage, and then I pair that with the Rumored Beast. So when I'm in shapeshifting form, my main hand is where all my damage source comes from. So then using Beast on the offhand, it just gives me a Fanaticism aura, so I get more damage, more attack rating, and my Mercenary actually attacks faster as well. He actually hits the very final increased attack speed breakpoint, which is very cool. We'll go over his gear in a little bit. But you could, if you wanted to go for a little bit more survivability, you could use Storm Shield. But I think that's completely overkill when I have 6k life. Let's just boost your damage and kind of try and leech back from Feral Rage and Life Tap. That just kind of, I think, makes more sense. Now for the body armor, I'm using Fortitude. I don't think you really want to use Enigma. You could if you wanted to do sort of a teleport version on the offhand. But the offhand for this character, I'm using Rib Cracker with an increased attack speed, attack rating jewel. So between Rib Cracker and my boots, I have 65% crushing blow. I'm actually going to switch out for the Ubers run. I'm going to do Goblin Toes. I'm going to experiment with both boots, one for the mini Ubers, and then I'll switch, and then I'll run Goblin Toes for the rest of them. But Goblin Toes gives me a little bit more crushing blow, but the advantage to Gore Riders is I also get 15% Deadly Strike. So when you pair that with the 20% Deadly Strike on Grief, and then the 35 on High Lords, I do actually get a decent amount of doing double the amount of damage. Now for the gloves, the belts, and the rings, I'm using Ravenfrost. This is a perfect Ravenfrost that I found on a human bot project. It is not duped, I promise you. It's just for the attack rating, dexterity, and cannot be frozen. And then I paired that with a Mana Leech, dexterity, attack rating ring with lightning res. I think this actually complements the build really well. Attack rating, so we hit better. Mana Leech, because we don't need Life Leech with Life Tap and Feral Rage. It's just completely, you don't need it at all. So we got Mana Leech, dexterity, and attack rating so that we can hit better. The mana is kind of useless. The Firebolt charges is garbage as well. But I get 28% lightning resistance. That works really well for Uber Mephisto. Again, especially when you compare that with like the light res and High Lords and then all the other additional res sources. The number one piece of gear for the Wolf Barb, this character doesn't exist without using Wolf Howl. Now this can be a very challenging item to rule really good, to try and get 6 to Feral Rage, 6 to Lycanthropy, 6 to Werewolf, and then high strength, dexterity, and vitality rolls can be very challenging. I socketed this with a max damage, percent damage to demons, attack rating to demons, plus strength, all resistance jewel. Now I know the max strength ED, I know about that bug, but it didn't really kind of pick and choose the rare jewel that I dropped. So I do get the bonus damage and attack rating to demons, a little bit of all res and strength. So just kind of a cool jewel, I think, to complement the build. Now for the inventory, I have a Torch and an Annie. This is a 1720 Barbarian Torch and a 1999 Annie Charm. And then I have a full inventory of max damage, AR, life, GCs, and small charms. You can see them all here with the exception of I have 2 5% faster hit recovery, max damage, attack rating charms. And then I also have Dungos. I forgot to mention the belt. It's a 14 DR 37 vitality Dungos. The reason why I didn't go String of Ears is you don't need Life Leech. Like I said, Life Tap and Feral Rage, it's completely over the top, needing more Life Leech past that. So the 10 of HR on Verdungos and then the additional 10 from these 2 small charms helps me reach the 20 FHR breakpoint with the Wolf Barb, the Druid in Wolf form, which I believe is 5 frames for FHR. Now, for those that are going to say you have 6,000 health, you don't need FHR, well, yeah, for regular PVM, but the Ubers can easily take 2 or 3k chunk of life out of you. So I just added this little combo here to get a decent amount of FHR for a little bit quicker recovery. There is a couple pieces of pre-buff gear that I use with this character as well that I just wanted to touch on. So I use Demon Limb for the enchant charges. It's just so I have a higher attack rating, better chance to hit. T-Gods for Uber Mephisto, and then I use a different pair of boots if I want to stack more Crushing Blow. Again, there's advantages to using Rib Cracker and then Goblin Toes, that's higher Crushing Blow, or we can use Gore Riders and get a little bit higher combination of Deadly Strike. So it's really just higher chance of Crushing Blow, get them down to half health quicker, or higher Deadly Strike to kind of finish them off quicker. Either one works. There's kind of not really a big clear speed difference between the two in my opinion. And then I have Chains of Honor and Treachery here. So Chains of Honor, I just like to throw on for doing Uber Tristram. It's a quick, easy way to completely cap my resistances, even with Mephisto's Conviction Aura. Now, if you don't have Chains of Honor, you can also use Treachery and pre-buff that Fade proc, although that takes time and kind of can be a little bit tedious. So Chains of Honor is just a quick body armor swap, and then I have capped res anyways. Don't need to worry about that fade proc. And then of course T-Gods for Lightning Absorb. Having high lightning res and then T-Gods makes you almost invincible to Uber Mephisto. It's just a kind of nice way of giving an already tanky character some extra tankiness in Uber Tristram. So the gear for the Mercenary, this may seem a little bit counterintuitive, but just let me go over and explain it. I'm using Treachery and G-Face. So inside the G-Face I have a Ruby Jewel Fervor, 15 increased attack speed, 14 ED Jewel. So this combination here, combined with the level 9 Fanaticism Aura from Beast, has my Mercenary hitting the highest possible attack speed breakpoint. So he's just attacking super quickly. When the Fade procs, he has damage reduction, and so he can just proc that Crushing Blow very frequently. And then I paired that with the Rumored Infinity. Now Infinity might seem super backwards, but you don't want to use something like Reaper's Toll because they don't want to override the Life Tap proc. And I could use like something like Kelpie Snare to slow the Ubers down, or maybe Obedience if I wanted more Crushing Blow. But Infinity has a Conviction Aura, which lowers the defense of the Ubers, which makes it easier for me to hit. Because we're not a smiter, we don't have a 100% guaranteed chance to hit. So having that Conviction Aura, if I can keep the Mercenary alive, really kind of helps increase my chance of hitting, which makes my character a lot safer. We can proc Crushing Blow quicker, get Life Tap quicker, and then replenish our life better. But that's all the gear in its entirety. So now we'll do an example mini Uber and Uber Tristram run, and we'll check the torch at the end just so you can kind of see what it's like to do Ubers with the Wolf Barb. So I have all 3 portals made. We're going to do Izual first, we'll do Duriel second, and Lilith last. The first things that I'd like to do is do a quick little enchant pre-buff proc to myself, my mercenary. That gives us a huge attack rating bonus. We'll do Izual, so a quick little pre-buff. This is a massive boost to defense and health because I have completely maxed skill tree for Barbarian's battle orders. Then shapeshift into werewolf form. And you're just gonna basically attack, get Feral Rage fully procced, have tons of life leech. You kind of see the big mobility difference when we're not running with Decrepit. And then we'll do a quick little weapon switch to Ribcracker. You can hear that, like the bat kind of sound. That'll be what we'll use against Izual to get him down to 50% health a little bit quicker because of the higher crushing blow proc. But prior to that, we basically just face tank everything, take our time, clear one by one, wipe everything down. That's actually really cool. Little combat shrine, although that'll get cursed off immediately. If I can, I'll try and, depending on where, okay. I was gonna say if Izual was close to that shrine, I could try and pull him to it and then hit it for higher attack rating, but there's just no sense of using it. Not with like the Doom Knights will just curse it off instantly, but I mean, we're just base rolling through things. As long as we don't do something stupid like have amp damage and get run over by Izual. It's the only thing that bothers me about him. Everybody says that he's easy, and he is for the most part, but if you get hit with him with amp damage, it can get pretty sketchy. We got Decrepit on us though. We'll do a quick little weapon switch, Ribcracker. Him down to half health, and then go back to the main hand again. It's a brain. Done.
Good afternoon.
Okay, next we'll do Forgotten Sands, but I'm going to switch the Goblin Toes to have a little bit higher crushing blow proc. You can see my Merc has Treachery faded, or excuse me, Fade procced from Treachery. As Treachery faded. I said it backwards. Okay, so the physical immune, these guys' nats can be annoying, but the cool thing about the Wolf Barb, if we go to Barbarian form, we can use Howl if we ever get stuck. Even though we're mostly running around in shapeshifting form, it's impossible to kind of just get stuck by those guys, just because we can always, there seems to be a lot of them. I don't want to get rid of that amp damage too. Don't want to take on Duriel with amp damage. If I can help it. There's a lot of swarms, but if you keep Feral Rage procced, give him ability, can run around really quickly. Just gotta try and find him. Oh, there he is. Okay, so we'll try and lure him back. I want to try and get rid of amp damage. I really do. I'm just gonna go, it's just not worth your time to fight him with amp damage.
Hello.
Just cancel with Mala, he's by himself. Now I don't like doing the Ribcracker switch for Duriel, just because of the Holy Freeze. I think it's just better to attack with Grief and have your little bit lower crushing blow. We'll still take him down pretty quickly. Belzar, don't die on me. Just about. Duriel. Now, of course, Lilith. Lilith, again, I'll do the Ribcracker switch. A little bit higher crushing blow. But we'll one by one everything and hope that we don't run into her with amp damage. Ooh, mana burn. We did run into Duriel and we still had amp damage on us. Hopefully it just goes away. it's gone. That's the one thing that I really like about this character is that despite not being able to use Enigma, is that you have really good faster run walk with Feral Rage proc. It kind of makes you wonder, like, if you used Harmony on Switch, you could run around even faster, or go crazy, use like Enigma. Still as a body armor for 45 faster run walk, and then Harmony on Switch with Feral Rage. You just be flying around the screen. Like a Frenzy Barb, but in Druid form. Oh, got amp damage again. I don't like that. Doesn't really bother me, other than just don't want to have it on me when I'm taking on Lilith. I think this is one of the most underrated melee characters. Like, besides just having poor AoE, there's Lilith. Besides poor AoE, I just think she's like really, or I think he, a really solid build. Why did I say she? Just because Lilith, I think. Oh, poor Gulzar was doing his own thing against Lilith. I'm just gonna try and get him full rejuves if I can. Come on, stay alive. Go Gulzar. Okay, you survived, dude. Now we just gotta see if we can get him to survive Uber Tristram. Okay, nice. All 3 organs. Now I didn't do the quick little body armor swap that we talked about, just Chains of Honor, instead of doing the Treachery kind of, or the Fade pre-buff with Treachery. Just saves us a little bit of time if we use Chains of Honor instead to get that little res boost. Quick little pre-buff. Now hopefully we can aggro these guys one by one, separate them, and see if we can keep him alive, Mercenary alive through everything. Okay, there's...
My brothers will not have died in vain.
That Ribcracker switch is really good. 75% crushing blow, and then switch to Beast just on the main hand to finish him off. He's down. And then Mephisto's down there. This is actually a good aggro spread. Took a while to proc life tap though. This will be the real test. Oh, Gulz. Okay, Gulzar's down right away, but we got Mephisto down pretty quickly. Just gonna rejuve. Life taps proc. Easy street. Not quite as fast as a smiter, but I think it's right up there. Definitely super fun build. Okay, cool. There you go. That is Uber Tristram. Let's check this torch. Let's see what we get. 2020 torch for the video. I mean, overall, just a super tanky character. 6+K life. You know, fanaticism support, conviction on the mercenaries so you can hit good. His might aura, just really cool. Really underrated build, in my opinion. But the torch is, 14-13 sorceress, so not that good, to be honest. Well, guys, there you have it. That wraps up today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. That was Ubers with the Wolf Barbarian. I think this is a super underrated character. Feel free to let me know in the comment section below if you guys would tweak the gear at all, although I think it's pretty much optimized. I don't think I would personally change much, but I do plan on releasing a PVM oriented build of this character in the future, so you can look forward to that. But as always, guys, if you could throw a like on this video, share it, and even consider subscribing if you're new to my channel. I post new weekly content on YouTube, and I stream twice a week on Twitch, so a follow on Twitch and a sub on YouTube would be amazing. Other than that, guys, hope you have a fan-frickin-tastic day, and I'll catch you on my next video or live stream. Peace out.